walking away with patience. "Congratulations to Derek," I said, forcing the words out past a smile that felt like biting down on broken glass. "I'm Marcus. I'm 44 years old. And I just watched 5 years of my life get handed to a 23-year-old kid who's only been at Trident Core Logistics for 3 months." Derek grinned like he'd just won a Nobel Prize. The conference room smelled like old coffee and fresh disappointment. Applause echoed around the long table. I clapped, too. My manager, Roger Kendall, stood at the head like a puffed-up rooster. "Derek is going to accomplish great things as our new regional operations director," he said. The same role I'd been promised for years. The one I'd been quietly preparing for since 2019. The one I was told would be mine when Brent Sutherland retired. I kept my hands clasped, my expression neutral. But something inside me turned cold, something that used to feel like hope. Derek was Roger's nephew. Everyone knew it. No one said anything. Derek had a fresh business degree and a swagger that only came from never needing to earn your keep. He'd shadowed me for 3 months, watching me juggle vendor issues, smooth over supply chain problems, and respond to crisis after crisis across 4 states. And now he was my boss. "Marcus has been instrumental in getting Derek up to speed," Roger added, like that made it okay. Like 5 years of spotless evaluations and 60-hour weeks were just a warm-up act for someone else's main event. I nodded. Happy to help. As people filtered out, congratulating Derek on his meteoric rise, I gathered my notepad slowly. My thoughts were unervingly clear, like when you wake up at 3 a.m. and understand something you've been pretending not to see for years. "Marcus," Roger said, catching my arm. "Hang back a moment." We were alone. He loosened his tie like he was trying to show empathy. "I know this probably feels sudden. But Derek brings energy and fresh thinking." "Sure," I said, evenly. "You understand, right? It's nothing personal." I looked at him. Roger was in his early 50s, soft around the edges with a comb-over that failed its mission. He got his job the same way Derek did. His father-in-law handed it to him on a silver platter. The irony wasn't lost on me. "I understand perfectly," I said. Roger smiled, clearly relieved. "That's what I like about you. You're a team player. Team player. Valuable. Not valuable enough to be promoted, but just right for babysitting his nephew." I returned to my desk, sat down, opened my laptop. The office hummed along, oblivious. Phones ringing. Fingers typing. I stared at the screen before finally typing. I'd joined Trident Core in March 2019, a week after my divorce finalized. I needed something stable. Logistics felt grounded. Boring. But dependable. The company moved industrial equipment across the Southwest. I thought I could build something there. Roger had hired me personally. Said he needed someone with my background. I'd just been laid off after 12 years at my old company, casualties of a merger and a spreadsheet. Roger had smiled during the interview. "We're growing fast. Promotions are coming for people with the right mindset." So, I became that person. I picked up weekend shifts. Took on emergencies. Built relationships across Phoenix, El Paso, Albuquerque. Never missed a shipment window. Roger kept saying, "You've got leadership written all over you. Just be patient." Patience I had. My daughter Lena came to stay every other weekend. She was 16 now, old enough to notice when her dad looked tired. She'd catch me at the kitchen table on Sundays, answering emails with 2 cups of coffee beside me. "Dad, it's the weekend." "Just getting ahead," I'd say. "Trying to build something that lasts." She'd roll her eyes, but she understood. Her mom had married a defense attorney who left work at 5. I was the dad who worked too much but never forgot a birthday. 6 months ago, the first crack appeared. Roger mentioned that his nephew might be joining. Bright kid, he'd said. Just graduated with honors. Business degree. I nodded, thinking he'd start in the warehouse, or maybe order processing. Instead, Derek got an office 2 doors from Roger's, the title of Operations Specialist, and probably a salary close to mine. Roger gave him the red carpet treatment. He's here to observe and learn our systems, Roger said. Observe, he did, by tagging along with me, asking basic questions during supplier calls, and offering uninformed opinions with unearned confidence. Still, I trained him. Because that's what you do. Even when you know exactly what's coming. 3 weeks ago, I found out for sure. I stayed late finishing quarterly reporting. The office was empty except for janitorial staff. Walking to the break room, I heard voices from Roger's office. The board's going to have concerns, someone said. Probably Nelson Granger from corporate. You told them Marcus was ready for promotion. He is, Roger replied. But Derek's family. He has the degree. The board loves credentials. What about Marcus's experience? Roger laughed, not cruelly, but not kindly either. Marcus is dependable. He'll keep the wheels turning. He's not leadership material. A long pause. He's got a daughter, pays alimony. He won't rock the boat. I stood outside the door in silence. Then turned, walked back to my desk, saved my report, and left without saying a word. That night, I couldn't sleep. Roger's words repeated in my head, he'll fall in line. Like I was a farm animal. 5 years of loyalty reduced to leverage. My ex had called it. You let people walk all over you, she said once. Stand up for yourself. Maybe she was right. The next morning, I showed up with a new mindset. I observed. Saw Derek sitting in meetings meant for me. Watched managers start copying him on decisions I'd been making for years. And then, in that conference room, as Derek soaked up applause he hadn't earned, something inside me clicked. Roger thought I needed the job. He was wrong. I opened my laptop and started typing my resignation. At exactly 4:30 p.m. on Friday, I handed it to him. Roger had just come back from giving Derek a victory lap through the warehouse. This is my notice, I said. He looked stunned. Read the letter. You're serious? I am. This is about Derek. You're quitting because you're not getting promoted. I stayed silent. He started pacing. You're making a huge mistake, Marcus. You're walking away from everything you've built. What about your daughter? Your obligations? There it was. The pressure point. I'll manage, I said. Roger's tone hardened. This is unprofessional. You're throwing a tantrum. I smiled slightly. Call it what you like. I won't give you a reference. Noted. He sighed. Look, you're good at what you do. Derek brings vision. You bring experience. We can find a spot for both of you. What's the title? Associate Director. You'd stay on to help Derek with execution. Same pay. Well. No thanks. Roger glared. Don't be stupid. I've made my choice. You walk out now, you burn this bridge forever. Then I'll light the match. That Monday, Derek looked like a deer in headlights. I spent hours helping him understand the Morrison Tech account, a $2 million client. He was lost in spreadsheets and confused by contract terms. Roger hadn't even briefed him. By lunch, I'd walked him through it. How do you manage all this? He asked. Experience. And documentation. He looked overwhelmed. Can I see your files? I showed him everything. Not for Roger, but for the clients who deserved better than chaos. That afternoon, Janet from Morrison Tech called. Tell me you're still our contact, she said. For another week, I replied. After that, Derek Patterson takes over. A pause. Patterson? As in Roger Patterson's nephew? Yes. He called this morning. Didn't even know our contract timelines. He's still learning. I don't have time to train your replacements. I heard that 4 more times before the end of the day. The writing was on the wall. The division would falter within 6 months. But that wasn't my burden anymore. On Thursday, I interviewed with Polaris Grid, an energy logistics firm out of Austin. Their regional director, Lionel Cruz, had tried to recruit me before. Marcus, he said, heard through the grapevine you're free. I am. We need someone to manage the Southwest operations. It's yours if you want it. The offer? 30% more pay. Better hours. Full control over client strategy. He wanted me and my contacts. Standard practice. I wasn't under a non-compete. My relationships were mine. I accepted. When Roger found out, he called me in. Interviewing with competitors while on payroll? That's disloyal. I'm exploring options. Your clients belong to Trident. They trust me. That's different. If you take them, we'll sue. I've kept everything professional. He sputtered. You're ruining everything. No. I'm leaving with integrity. What happens next is up to you. Tyler, in the corner, spoke softly. Maybe we should. Quiet, Roger snapped. I turned to Derek. If you need anything before I go, just ask. I want you to succeed. He looked grateful. Roger looked furious. On my final day, I turned in my badge. Roger glared. This isn't over, he said. For me, it is. I left lighter than I'd felt in years. 6 months later, Lionel dropped a magazine on my desk. Trident hemorrhaging clients, the headline read. Nepotism scandal rocks regional division. Roger had been fired. Derek resigned after failing to manage key accounts. The board was facing lawsuits. 4 clients had already moved to Polaris Grid. I feel bad for Derek, I said. He'll bounce back, Lionel replied. Roger? Roger? Not so much. A year later, I was passing through Phoenix and stopped for lunch. There in a corner booth was Derek, reading a textbook. Marcus, he said. Join me. He was older now, humbler. Back in school. Supply chain management. I want to earn it this time. We talked. He apologized. I told him I respected the effort. We shook hands. 6 months after that, Roger filed for bankruptcy. Derek graduated and started from the bottom at a logistics firm in Tempe. 2 years later, he got promoted, on merit this time. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's walking away, and building something better.